All right. King Leonidas versus Crossbones. I'll take it. What is up, Flick fans? Welcome back to my channel. Brand new movie dropping in theaters this weekend. It's called Cop Shop. We're going to talk about it spoiler free in this review, directed by Joe Carnahan. We have a character who is on the run from a lethal assassin, a wily con artist who devises a scheme to hide out inside of a small town police station. But when this hitman turns up at the precinct, an unsuspecting rookie cop finds herself caught in the crosshairs. And of course, our two characters of note here, Frank Grillo, who plays Teddy, Gerard Butler, who plays Bob. And Gerard Butler's Bob is hunting Teddy down. So here's what Teddy decides to do. He punches this police officer, Valerie, who is played by Alexis Louder, in the face to get himself arrested. But you know what? Jail can't protect you from King Leonidas. It's not going to do it. So Bob is scheming his way into detention, but then you have this competing assassin that turns this movie, what feels like a simplistic premise, into just chaos, right? So you have all of these different threats for all of these individuals when one person just wants to finish this mission, complete this job. The other person just wants to survive. You have the assassin. And then this cop, she's just caught in the crosshairs of all of it, right? So it's madness. It's like, very different kind of movie than what Tarantino would direct, but this Tarantino-style madness. It also has this style to it, a very distinct style that I wasn't expecting, and it immediately gives you a tone that I believe tells you or spells out the kind of film this is going to be. A kind that, I wasn't necessarily super hyped about, even though I do love me some Joe Carnahan. I really do. I feel like I'm much more on board with his films than other people. Boss Level, earlier this year, really enjoyed that movie, The Gray. I don't hate the A-Team. Of course, Smoking Aces. There are just so many things about Joe Carnahan that work extremely well. And I believe this may be his most bombastic, on-display style that we have seen from him yet. Every scene, from the transitions to the way that it goes to the story progression, it's just so him, and I love that, and I respect that, right? There is a part of the story that is compromised by some lackluster writing at times. There are some lines by Gerard Butler. It could have been the delivery, but I think for the most part, they just don't entirely work. But you also get this pulpy feeling throughout the entire thing, and characters that have so much charisma on display, and you're going to have that with our two stars of note here. Butler is so determined. His character is just so like, I have to get this done. Frank Grillo is kind of playing a bit of a different Frank Grillo than what we're used to. I love his team-ups with Joe Carnahan now, but their back and forth was just spectacular. I will fully admit, right, this is one of those movies that you kind of have to check your brain at the door, right? It's not one that you're going to analyze the dialogue or try to get something out of these characters that maybe you won't expect going in. It's pretty much what you expect, but it may even be more quirky and crazy and wacky than what you anticipate. And from there comes some really solid tension, especially the last 15 minutes, which I believe is paced a lot better than the rest of the movie. It also gives you this exaggerated ending that some will find to be just a bit too much. But at the same time, I think the performances are so good. The action is so entertaining. It's very over the top. So again, not everyone's going to be on board for that. I will admit, though, a little bit less action than what I was anticipating, right? You have the premise, so obviously you're going to have your shootout scenes, your shoot-'em-up scenes that work extremely well. So less action. And you also get moments within the script that just treat the audience like they're a bit dumber than what we actually are. Right? And I won't go into detail on what that is, but one in particular I'm thinking of, you may be able to think of it as well, that's just like, come on, come on. I don't know why it had to do that. So that was unfortunate. There are some issues that I noticed personally within the sound mixing that didn't quite come together. But the retro Western almost vibe, like we're watching something straight out of the 70s at times, is really nice, right? It's a throwback film altogether. We used to get movies like this in the 90s and the early 2000s, so it feels like it belongs release date-wise in the late 90s, but the stylistic elements have this 70s retro feel that's really cool and somewhat refreshing, even though it's familiar. So I guess a nice balance of refreshing. and familiar. But the charismatic performances are what will keep you entertained. So before I give you guys my score, I want to say thank you so much for watching. What review should I tackle next? And if you enjoyed this video, drop your thumbs up. I'm going a flat 7. I'm going a solid 70% with this movie, with Cop Shop, a movie that I did not expect or anticipate to love all that much. Joe Carnahan, he always kind of flies under the radar, but I got some joy out of this film that I just didn't anticipate, and because of that, I have to reward the movie. So, congratulations. You guys are absolutely the best. Thank you so much for watching. Come back for more reviews on this channel. I am going out of town, though, so I'll be in a hotel room. I'll see you soon.